I know all the talk about the now sophomore wide receiving core, but can Charleston Rambo be the guy, or do you expect one of them to step up and be that guy? Lincoln Riley expects Charleston Rambo to be the guy, whether he wants to be or not, because he is one of the most experienced players on the roster and the most experienced in an OU jersey. Like, Theo Howard was brought in to help with this burden of being the guy on this really talented wide receiving core. But he got a blown blown Achilles tendon. Then you bring in Obi Obialo out of Marshall, who I expect to help. We'll see where it is, whether it's outside or at that wide tight end position, because they certainly need to pad that position, because it's really Austin Stogner, and then you're just making it up as you go along until Jalen Conyers gets there. And I don't think you want to throw Jalen Conyers out there to the Wolves, even if he is one of the most talented athletes in this 2020 class from a pure athletic standpoint. Don't really know what he slots at for offensive football just yet. I know that they want him to play tight end, but they also wanted Drew Sanders to play tight end. He's going to play some outside linebacker at Alabama. That said, Jaden Hazelwood had the third most catches on the team last year, tied with Lee Morris. But that was just 19, right? Your top returning catcher on this team is Rambo with 43 catches over 700 yards last year. You need him to take on that Hollywood Brown role of just taking the top off the defense repeatedly and letting Spencer Rattler drop dimes to him, because the thing that Rattler does well that Jalen Hurts didn't do well is throw the ball down the field, right? Kyler did it all the time. Baker did it all the time. Be nice to get back to that. Theo Weiss, Jaden Hazelwood, Trajan Bridges when he gets eligible to play again. I expect those dudes to be heavy contributors. What's going to be interesting is what happens with Drake Stoops, because I know that he's still not on scholarship, because the last dude needs to be on scholarship, like from a monetary standpoint, is Bob Stoops' kid. But perhaps he has earned a scholarship, right? And if you can award that to him, then I think that's the way to go. But you also got Marvin Mims, who's going to figure in, right? Because that's the national record holder for single season, catching yardage, receiving yardage in a single season. Over 2,600 yards receiving last year at Lone Star Frisco. Also has the Texas state record for receiving yards in a career, surpassing Jordan Shipley. Marvin Mims can play. Brian Darby's going to contribute. Trayvon West is going to contribute. You'll have guys that can help. But I think Charleston Rambo has to be the guy. And if he's not the guy, be Jaden Hazelwood, Theo Weiss show. And I don't think anybody would be unhappy about that. Least of all, Rattler, who came in with those kids. See, what about the position preventing OU from a natty if there is one glaring position? Defensive tackle. Defensive tackle. Defensive tackle. Defensive tackle. All right. So we know that the offense is fine, right? Offense set records. Offense is going to be top 5 in the country every year because that's what they do. Defensively, you're playing whack-a-mole for the first couple of years, right? It's a linebacker play ain't great. Defensive line getting blown off the ball because you keep running 3-man fronts. Safeties getting beat over the top. Khalil Houghton, anybody. Robert Barnes dead in the driveway after Josh Jacobs ran over him in the Orange Bowl, right? Parnell Motley getting picked on in 2018. You could make an argument that safety play was an issue, but they fixed safety play, right? I think Pat Fields and Delarian Turner-Yell play just fine. And if Delarian Turner-Yell is healthy, Woody Washington doesn't have to come in there. Justin Broyles doesn't have to come in there and get shown something up by Justin Jefferson, who goes over their dead bodies for over 200 yards receiving, 4 tutties, and 1/2 of football into probably the first round of the NFL draft, and if not, a very high draft pick as a wide receiver. Dude, people didn't expect to amount to be the guy that he ended up being, but I think that he needs to send kisses out to the OU secondary for putting him on the national stage and allowing them to become posters for him to dunk on. That said, Neville Gallimore this year, best defensive tackle that OU had. Wanted to see that 2 years ago from Gallimore, right? Didn't show up for scheme fits and the obvious reason of Mike Stoops. But now with LaRon Stokes, Jalen Redmond moving toward the middle, Marcus Hicks is going to be healthy and ready to play. Marcus Stripling can move inside, but I think he's going to stay at that end position. Ronnie Perkins, when he's ready to go, can help you out. And then Corey Roberson is going to be healthy and ready to play. If you get elite play in the middle of the defense, you have opportunities to win football games. If your 4 can beat their 5, you keep your linebackers clean, you let your secondary do what they do, you're going to win a lot of football games. Check out 2018 Clemson. Team won national championship. All 4 of those dudes get drafted. All 4 of those dudes are just monsters. What we see, Dexter Lawrence, Christian Wilkins, Cleveland Farrell, all went in the first round of that draft. Those all 3 dudes played on the same defensive line in college. It's crazy. When Alabama handed OU its head in the Orange Bowl, Quinnen Williams was destroying them, just killing them. And that's what you have to have if you want to win national championships. Tyler Shelvin at LSU. Kavlon Chasen at LSU. Georgia has a tremendous defensive line. If you have the best defensive line in football, one of the best defensive lines in football, you have an opportunity to win a national championship and not just to play in the college football playoff. Because as much as it's cool for OU to get an invitation to the national semifinal every year, it's not as cool to see your squad getting the people's elbow every time you show up. It's getting to be a lot like being All-State in Rhode Island to win the Big 12 conference, all right? It's teetering on being the fourth best conference in a Power 5. Like, that's not a good look. It's not a good look. Because Clemson gets to claim a national championship this decade, right? So that's ACC gets one. Big 10 gets to claim a national champion this decade. Ohio State, right? SEC, we know all about the SEC. What's the Big 12 won this decade? Not a damn thing. And that's kind of the problem, right? It's getting rough round these parts to keep trying to let everybody know what this is when your team gets styled on. Time the team gets styled on. You want one position to win a national championship? Go get a defensive tackle. Now, Josh Ellison and Perion Winfrey have the talent. We'll see if they can develop into the goods to go along with, yes, LaRon Stokes and Jalen Redmond and Marcus Hicks in the middle. Could be good. Hope it's good. Otherwise, it's going to be a long season again. All right, what else we got? When will Iowa State get over the hump and make the Big 12 championship game? Yo, bruh. All right. Y'all get close. And you know, I thought it might have been the year that beat Oklahoma in 2017. That wasn't it. You had a shot last year. You get a win at Texas in Ames. And you are a converted 2-point conversion away from beating Oklahoma in Norman again. And really, Brock Purdy threw it to the wrong tight end. They had 3 tight ends out in routes. And he missed the one that he should have been throwing to. Parnell Motley breaks up the pass, picks it off. It's a failed 2-point conversion. Oklahoma walks out with an escape win. Second escape win in as many Novembers. Because remember, you had Trey Brown doing like this when Taylor Cornelius short arms a pass to Tylan Wallace that if he didn't short arm, they get their points and they win that game. I feel like one of those games is not going to go OU's way. But back to Iowa State. Look, beat everybody you're supposed to beat. Get lucky against a couple of teams that are supposed to be the top in this conference, say Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, Texas. And then you're going to be in that game, right? You're really just that OU win away from having an opportunity to challenge for that Big 12 championship spot, because that was a down year for Texas. Wasn't a great year for Texas Christian. Baylor came out of nowhere. Texas Tech was decent but not good. Kansas was Kansas. Kansas State was better than we thought. With Chris Kleiman, probably be better than we think next year. You're really just a couple of wins away. But they're wins against the best teams in this conference. And that's not easy to do, right? All right. Let me see. We got anything else in here that I want to do? It's nice to all 11 of y'all to show up. I appreciate that. See, I got a couple. Caleb W. Who would he bring with him? Yeah, you're fishing. I'm not going to give that one out. You know, you can read the tea leaves on that one, right? Check out your crystal balls. That's fishing. You know, but the idea is that he would bring as many people with him as humanly possible. Let's see this one. This one comes from Julian Delorme. You have been deceived by your own fandom of Oklahoma. I'd like to start by saying your videos are pretty cool, and if it was more Texas positive or less bias, I guess I don't really understand why you go at Texas for no reason. Other than the fact that we are better than OU at pretty much everything. Little brother gets jealous. You often call Texas not a blue blood, which is historically inaccurate. Remember y'all all time. What? FYI, I'm 15 years old from Dallas, Big Texas. Okay. All right. Well, that explains a lot there. Good luck to your Longhorns, Julian. Okay. Let's see. Oh, what's up, Holes? What you got? He says, only question I have is, in your opinion, will Oklahoma win a national championship in football before 2023? Yes, because the 2021 season is the one to bet it all on if you are Oklahoma. Rattler comes of age. That wide receiving class, 2019 class, comes of age. The 2020 class comes into, vogue. They get this sophomore season in 21. And this class that's putting together right now is going to be freshmen. But more than that, you're betting it all on the development of Grinch and what Rattler and that group of wide receivers is going to be able to do. Because EJ Ndomo is going to be great. Andrew Rame is going to be great. You're going to be Stacey Wilkins is going to be good. You're going to be in great position on the offensive line and wide receiver, running back, so forth. It's about developing on the defensive side of the ball, because that's a draft eligible year for a couple of dudes that I really, really like. We'll see what this means in the coming years about Buki and Deshaun White and some other guys that might be draft eligible next year but probably should come back. 21 is the year to bet it. So that's what I'm going to go with. Let's go with 21 and that'll, yeah. So Holes, I think before 2023 is definitely in the cards. Oh man, there's a Trey Sermon question. Trey Sermon told Letterman Row he had a minor MCL tear in his spine. One of you guests said it was a major injury requiring weeks on crutches. What say you? He was on crutches. Yeah. And even if it was a minor injury, he was on crutches. And if you need surgery, there's nothing minor about needing surgery. All surgery is major surgery. All right. I appreciate that Trey believes he's fine, and I hope that he is fine. And I want him to set the world on fire in Columbus. But question the severity of the injury, especially after he has rehabbed it and is ready to go. It's a moot point. We'll all know what he can do as soon as he lines up in the scarlet and gray and gets to play. I don't understand why that's such a big deal.